the last video I talked about the scales and scores of the Career Choice GPS profile. In this video I'll start to break down the different parts of the profile and what they mean for you. First, let's look at your inherent traits. So what are your inherent traits? Inherent traits are the permanent parts of your personality. They're usually learned when you're young and then become hardwired parts of your character. The inherent traits measured on your profile are your enterprising potential, achievement potential, and independence potential. So to review, your score for each trait will sit somewhere between two extremes. The traits that I explain associated with each score are based on measurements from a data set of over 15 million people. So to start, enterprising potential measures whether you enjoy initiating activities or being more responsive to outside direction. The extremes on the scale are proactive on the left and responsive on the right. Find your number on the profile by finding where the black bar sits on the scale. So for example, say you were assigned to work on a group project. The person on the left of the scale might likely be the first to speak up and say, "Okay, here's what we need to do." The person on the right might first be glad that somebody else spoke first and follow with, "Okay, but how do we do that?" The person in the middle might say, "Let's hear your ideas and see if they make sense. If not, we'll work together on alternatives." Personally, I'm more on the left because I like to start new things. Think of anyone you might know who matches these traits. Next is your achievement potential. Achievement potential measures the factors that motivate you to achieve. People on the left are people who are motivated by challenges to overcome or money on the table. People on the right like work that's predictable and secure. People in the middle are motivated by helping people or providing services in some way. How would you spend your free time? Someone on the left may be moved to train for a marathon or take on some kind of challenging task. Someone on the right may stay home and watch familiar favorite movies or TV shows and go to the same restaurant with friends and order the usual. Someone in the middle might be motivated to do some kind of community service. Remember that there's no right or wrong with this, it's just who you are. But also keep in mind that you will be a strong or weak fit for a career you're considering. The last inherent trait is your independence potential. Independence potential measures your need for structure and feedback as well as team orientation. A reading on the left would indicate someone who creates his or her own structure, what some would call a lone wolf. On the right is someone who strongly prefers teamwork, guidelines, and checklists with constant feedback. So what's your score? If you were starting a new project at school or work, someone on the left might want to start the project on his or her own, do the research, and develop a proposal independently. Someone on the right maybe would start by collecting feedback and ideas from others and developing a collaborative proposal and possibly building a team around the project. Someone in the middle might look to their colleagues for input, then work on much of the project on his or her own. Like me, in high school I was always the one who wanted to do projects on his own. So which one are you? Now you should have a better idea of what your inherent traits are and how you compare to people around you. In the next module we'll talk about your learned behaviors.